Hello and welcome to Markiron Shipyard, episode 27. Well, today's episode, we're here just outside main engineering to show you a little project I've been working on. Over the last little while, I've been waiting for mods to update because I really want to get this build continued in 1.4.2, which is currently the next version to, the Minecraft version has already been released, but we're just waiting on mods to update. And I've decided that I'm going to use some features of Buildcraft, Railcraft, and Industrial Craft, Thermal Expansion, and of course, Red Power as always. Also going to have some Forestry in here as well. So lots of mods, kind of the mod pack I kind of use for my single player fool around, have a bunch of fun stuff. So let's pop over to first person view here and take a look. So this is what I've decided to go with for a warp core. Now, granted, in the middle of this are just steel block or iron blocks. That's because this is still 1.2.5 and I don't have the blocks necessary. What these will become is Industrial Craft 2 Industrial Craft 2, silly me, Railcraft version 6 dot something I believe they got added, steam engines. So these will be steam engine 1, 2, 3. Yes, I know I wouldn't exactly have a steam-powered starship. I think steam would be the closest, how shall we say, stand-in for the function of warp plasma on a starship. So, we've got the 4 lines coming out, going into the next room, and going up. Now, when they go up, not what I wanted to do, but should be able to sneak through there. And up we go. And there we go. I'll fix those later. So then plasma flow is going to go over here. I might take one of them or take some, do something here or what have you. I'm not sure yet. But normally there would be a plasma accelerator there. But yeah, I'll figure it out. So sending it down along. Now there's 2 ways this gets diverted. Some get sent off here to the warp field controller. Some of it gets sent up to the warp nacelle. So as you can see, I've just kind of laid out just kind of a basic idea of where I'm going to get these 3 tubes up. And they'll just come up here and sneak up on in and, well, my little secret, what I'll actually use the steam power for, but I will actually have it doing a purpose. I'm not sure it'll move the ship. In fact, I'm pretty sure it won't, but it'll be doing something up there. Oh, and I also had a really good thought the other day. Somebody needs to come up with a mod where you can take all the blocks in one area and move them together. And they need to call it the Warp Bubble mod. Seriously, just create a warp field and move the whole field forward. Granted, that would probably not have a whole lot of actual application, but it'd be kind of fun for my build. I've also gone through, done some things, put some airlocks in. So, theoretically, this would be the vacuum of space. But, hey, I'm allowed to fudge the rules of reality here. So, in the actual build, or in the actual hull, this area will come up here, and then there'll be a sharp down, and then this will narrow out a little bit. Probably come right across the top of these pipes as kind of the top. Because I think that will still give me adequate height. Yeah, that will. So let me swap over to my test world, which is actually going to be a 1.4 test world, and I'll show you what I mean. Hello and welcome back. So I apologize for lying, but it's not my 1.4 test world, it's my 1.32. I kind of built this little contraption that will one day be my warp core. So I've got, you need two things to make steam. You need something to burn and water. Water is very important. With railcraft steam, pretty much anything, if you run out of water, okay. If you try and put water in one of these guys that is boiled dry, like say you have a pipe problem and you fix it, if you don't let this cool down before you restore water, it will explode. I think it's approximately the force of TNT, maybe a little less, but nonetheless, it's gonna hurt. So, as you can see, temperature gets up pretty high. I've currently got this powered with peat. I chose peat because it burns pretty quick, and in this test I was just wanting to get it burned real quick. In the future I might choose something like coal or coal coke. I've also heard that there might be a liquid version that would run off a liquid fuel, which could be a lot more efficient and a lot cooler. So in this little setup, the peat represents the antimatter, and, well, I guess the water represents the matter. Or it could be vice versa. But, actually, it probably makes sense, because if you try and operate this reactor without matter in it, well, normally you'd put the antimatter in the reaction chamber and it would not be happy with you. Now, currently I've got water tanks over here and just a chest here. I'll create more. I'm hoping there is a liquid fuel version, because in that case I will use tanks on that side, tanks on this side. These guys here are actually also railcraft storage tanks, iron tanks. You can make them in a lot of different sizes. This particular one is holding 864,000, I think it's millibuckets, which is 1,000th of a bucket. So basically there's 864 buckets of water in here. And this is pretty much the smallest tank you can build. You can easily build them giant. So now I've got these steam conduits here. As you can see, it's a little gray and lifeless, but I can live with that. This is a steam engine. So it receives steam in, stores a little bit of it, and it makes buildcraft power. Now, buildcraft power I can have some fun with. Don't mind the sheep farm. Like I said, test world, testing the feed station. I also seem to be having some problems with some following peat getting knocked out. But anyways, so following these conduits around just like they will be in the ship brings me to this guy. He is a steam turbine. He takes steam from steam engines. I think you need about 4 lines, independent lines, of gold piping to get him up to full output. And then he produces 100 EU per tick of industrial craft power. In this case, I've got 2 of these for 200, plus this nice little nuclear reactor up here, which I think... Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, he's producing 5 EU per... What? Oh, I've only got one. I had a quad uranium cell in here earlier, and that was outputting significantly more EU per tick. That's enough to fill this guy up, and he's running some electric engines. We've got some steam-powered engines directly here. One note about steam-powered engines, if you're using them, you pretty much need a dedicated line from the boiler to each. And each boiler can support roughly 4 to 6 lines, it seems. But if you try and share, see, currently this guy is doing 8 Minecraft joules per tick. Everybody calls them millijoules, megajoules. Really, it's Minecraft joules, but I don't think it makes that much of a difference. There's no unit to compare it to, so big whoop. Use non-standard terminology. So if you connect these two up, they will split the steam. This guy's power output goes down. And even if you have an identical one on the other side, it won't get up that high. So with these two machines, at maximum, could output 8 Minecraft joules per tick. But it seems like when you split the steam between the two, you actually end up losing and end up with less than 8 per tick, which isn't terribly efficient. But, you know, some of that kind of stuff might be what I eventually choose. While I'm showing off my experiments, let me show you my experiment about peat farms. The cool thing is, peat farms can stack on top of each other if there isn't too tight a space. See these guys in the middle? They're doing fine. The ones in the bottom, well, they're stacked a little tight, and same with these guys up here. And I found even when I was giving these peat bogs enough replacement bog earth, they weren't replenishing. So for those of you who use forestry, careful. Although it is neat that you can somewhat stack them, and then you get the little cool water just kind of torrenting down between the holes. And it makes for convenient powering. Anyways, let's fly on back to the ship. Just flying up, heading my way. No, I'm not going to make you guys watch me fly all the way up and theoretically take off into orbit, but I will see you on board. Hello and welcome back. All right, so one thing I'm going to do just to end this off is just show you some of the different pipes that Buildcraft adds that we'll be using. Namely, the waterproof pipes. These can support transporting just about any liquid, including a lot of mod added ones. For instance, if you add forestry, then you also gain the ability to put all the forestry liquids through these things. Basically, whatever you can pick up and get into them will transfer just fine. So I like to keep a stack on these, and they do place and remove very easily. So if you misplace one, oops, don't go getting your hammer, don't go getting your destruction catalyst. Just left click. Done. No worries, no hurries. Now, one of the other things that I'm going to do more of a spotlight on in my next episode is transport pipes. So when we go in here, we just search for, helps if I click in the box. Right click and it'll erase your previous search. Transport pipes. So they come in various flavors from wooden up to diamond, obsidian. Basically what you get is wooden are designed for moving things out of inventories with the assistance of engines. Typically a redstone engine, which is the cheapest form and can work with just about any Buildcraft compatible engine. Now granted, the engine does have to be directly attached to the pipe, So using any of the higher level engines will likely cause them to overheat, and if it's something like a combustion engine, will cause it to explode. Not a good occurrence. Alright, so we also have cobblestone, stone, transport pipes. These are interchangeable except for one minor little detail. Let me get a few of each of these. And they will place great. I believe stone ones carry items just a little bit faster than cobblestone, but they will not actually connect to each other. So you can run these in parallel, close together, tight together. They will not touch. If you want to get these two to interact together, you have to do something like this. So get them coming together, and then another type of pipe. For instance, this is a iron transport pipe. So we put him in, and he, with the assistance of handy dandy wrench, controls where items can go out of. Normally when you get to a T-junction like this, it's random. If I set it to this way, these two lines will send items either way, but when they get here to this, they will stop and go out this way. So it kind of helps for distribution networks. You don't use a lot of these if you use things like logistics pipes, which I do, just because these actually foul up logistics pipes pretty good, but we'll get into that on another day. So let's knock these out. And like I said before, if I can't use liquid fuel, I will use solid fuel with transport pipes to pipe it around. Let's see. Then the other ones are golden. Golden will actually cause your items to speed up. So normally they will move through pipes rather slowly until they hit a golden transport pipe, in which case they will launch forward. Friction does still apply, so your items will slow down after a while. Not too big a deal. Diamond transport pipes are sort pipes. So by themselves, they don't look like much. However, if we start adding pipes around, you see how they are colored. You click on this with a wrench, you get the interface, and you can tell it any blocks of iron that go down all go to gold. So no matter which way it enters, it hits here, goes to gold. It'll even U-turn items. It'll still randomly disperse things except down gold because it knows only iron goes down gold. All right, and obsidian. It's the last one on this neat little thing. And I can actually demo this quite nicely because it has a neat little feature. It will, oops, if I turn off my magic vacuum bag, ooh, kind of cozy in here, ain't it? I'll just destroy that for now. But as you can see, obsidian pipes work like vacuums. Any blocks that come into their range, they will suck up, and in this case, come around and spit right out the other side. Not terribly useful in this demonstration, but you can imagine the ability to have any sort of block breaker or anything like that that automatically vacuums up anything around, or simply just having a backup. If you have a spot where items could spit out of an overflow, have an obsidian pipe there waiting to pick them up. Anyways, I think that's pretty much it for time, so thank you very much for watching Markiron Shipyard, episode 27. Feel free to rate, comment, subscribe, all that usual fun jazz, and follow me on Twitter. I'm going to try and tweet a little more. I know I've been kind of lacking the last little while. Life hasn't been straightening out quite as quickly as I'd like it to, but we're getting there. Anyways, Thank you for watching. See you next time.